Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. I hope you all had an awesome weekend, and of course it was Memorial Weekend, so I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Right, I am up today once again with Panalisa, and this time just to finish off with that large Panalisa haul that I got, I'm just doing 3 paper cuts from 3 sets of things that people had asked about. So I've done those, and it's going to be a real simple and quick video. Right, so the first thing, people asked about the lace concertina pockets. So what I've done is I've cut one, I've made one, and I've folded one so that you can see it through all of its 3 doodahs. I was also asked about this one. This one is a gorgeous frame, or it is layering up. But the one thing that, you know, it kind of reminded me of was sunflower. So I think, you know, that done in yellow and what have you would make a fabulous sunflower. Now, I will be coming back to Panalisa again in a couple of weeks, but tomorrow I'm going to be doing a personal haul, which I haven't done in quite a while, and there's some really cute stuff in that, so I hope you'll join me. And next up was the lace bands and the lace buckles. Now, what's nice about these buckles, if you look at them, they've got that nice thick piece in between. I'm putting my finger there so you kind of, you know, getting an idea of what they look like. And I've cut all of them out, so I will measure them. And that is that you can run your glue along those sections there and fix them down to your project, whether it's an envelope or a little flap top box or something like that, or even on a card, and then you can have it as a working buckle so that you can thread your little bands of lace through. So there's that one that I've cut out to show you. So first up, the sunflower. And this is what you get. You get that lovely base, and I hope I'm not all blurred. I'm just going to go into my camera there and make sure we're okay. And then you get this lovely frame. Now, it could be used as anything, but it just reminds me of a sunflower. So I just think that if those 2 items were cut in different shades of yellow, I'm going to put that like that, and then you get that bit. And that was done in brown, and you can get what is it, distressed glitter, which is quite matte, and you can get it in vintage photo, and you can put that on in the middle with glossy accents and make it all, you know, so that it looks all crusty and shimmery and nice, and pop that up on some foam or just lay it back in, and you can see that you've got, you know, the makings of a really nice sunflower. You could punch a hole in it, turn it into a tag, or you could just layer it up on a card. Or if you wanted to, you could cut it in half, and you could have one piece either side, and you can have your sentiment in the middle, or you could just offset it on your card with your little sentiment, or even just stamp a little sentiment right there. So that is that one, and I'm going to measure it. So I'm just going to grab my ruler out. So the actual size is the size of the base. So we are at 3 3/4 inches, and it's pretty spherical. So I reckon it's the same dimensions all over. Right, next up is the buckles and the belts, and that is this set here. So there is one of the buckles. That is the largest one. There's your second one, really lacy and pretty, cut out first time, so there's no worry about that. And then you've got this one, and I did actually ding that with my fingernail because my cutting plates are so rough now that my paper has started sticking to them, so I think it's time to kind of switch them out. But as I was saying, you've got plenty of space here to run glue across your bars so that you're able to put your belt through. Now, I've cut those in 2 different ways. You get 2 different belts. So this one, I cut the base just to show you that you get a lovely base, and then you get a lovely layer so that you can do them in whatever colours you want to, whether it's gold foil, or maybe you want to do a shabby Mrs. Claus Christmas card, you know, because Mrs. Claus can have her belt really pretty. and that could be like in gold and black or red and gold or what have you, and then you could have little flowers and stuff, and maybe a little die cut of a Mrs. Claus, and that would look really cute. But you see what I mean? That bit there was glued down, and then you've got a total working belt. So that's how they go. You cut a base, then you cut your lace. That can be used totally independent on its own as a trim on a card. But there's one of the buckles. And then this one I cut out and I glued it down so that you can have a look at it. Now what's nice about this one, and I didn't do it, is you've got these little spaces here, which means you can go along and you can thread in and out with a ribbon as well, so that if you wanted that on a book, and I don't really want to bend it because I'd like to use it for something else, but you could like score it down with your ribbon, fasten those bits to your spine and your front and back pages, and then you've got your ribbon that will come out that you can use to tie your journal or your book closed. So that one is a really lovely one. There you go. Isn't it pretty? Just really lovely. Really love that. So let's measure this one, and doing the bases again to its longest point, 5 3/4 inches for that one. And then I'll just measure the base on this because that's the longest again. And we are at 5 7/8, so it's slightly bigger. I'm going to pop it on top so that you can see. See, that one is slightly bigger than that one that's underneath it. And then our largest buckle, which is lovely. And if I go that point to that point there, we are at 2 7/8 of an inch. And then at its widest point, we are at, let's get that correct, 1 3/4. So that one is the biggest buckle. So a really pretty and useful set again. And then last but not least, the pockets. So I did cut all 3. But I left the large one unmade so that you can see the pieces. And you can see you've got your score lines there where you bend. You've got your lovely lace border with your little pin dots along the top. And you've got this bit here which tucks in. And then you get your layering lace piece. So once again, whatever colour you choose to do it in, obviously you've got to glue it on straight. And me fumbling around is not straight, but you know what I mean. But just really pretty, really lovely. Can go on the front of a card, can go inside a little mini album, and you can tuck ephemera or a little tag inside. This one won't actually fit a gift card, but you could get the first half of a gift card in there before it starts to get too narrow. So if you went that path, you'd have half of your gift card hanging out if you wanted to use it for that. So the size of this one, when it's made up on your largest, goes from your lace point down to your first score point, and that is 5 1/4 inches. No, it's not, is it? That's 3 1/4 inches. I don't know where on earth I got that from. And then on its width, you are at 3 1/2 inches. So it's quite a good size, and you can see my hand on there. So it's very, you know, you can handle it. And then on the next one, I cut the medium one and I folded this one so that you can see how it's supposed to be folded. And if I pull that out, you can see your concertinas, so that I'm going to hold it still so that if you do one, you know exactly how it should be folded. So I'm showing that to you. That's how it should look on its side. And then of course you would glue your little fancy piece on there again. So on a birthday card or a wedding card with a tiny little tag in it, that's going to look really, really pretty. So I'm going to hold that with my fingers and measure the width. Let's go up to there, 2 inches. And then the height of that one is 2 1/8. So that's your medium size one. And you can, of course, if you want to, layer them up which I think is how it's shown on Panalisa's website. So there you go. You can start to layer them up on a page if you want to. Isn't that lovely? Really pretty lace. And I don't know what you could do with that bit, but I kind of, you know, I get the feeling that that could be a vase as well. You know, if you wanted to put that on a card, and you could have foliage and flowers and stuff coming out of it. So there's another purpose. And then I had to do the little one, and I glued the top onto the little one, and you can see that you can fold it. So I'm showing you that bit as well. And what I really love about this is it would fit onto an ATC or an ATC coin. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? And it wasn't difficult to fold either. And I thought that it would be, you know. And you've got your little bit there. So you put your tape on all three sides. And it goes around. Just really sweet. So let's measure that. At its largest point, I'm going to say that is 1.5 inches. And then at its height, from its top of its point on its lace, 1 7/16 of an inch. So that's what that looks like. Isn't that cute? And then, as I was saying, you know, you can layer them up. That's if you want to. And just keep piling them on top of each other. But just really pretty. Love it. Look how nice and chunky that would be on the front of a book. You could have a pencil, and you could have a couple of tags and a little bit of ephemera in there. Just really nice. Right, so that is what I have for you today. And I do hope you have an absolutely awesome day. I'll be up with my personal haul tomorrow. And as usual, all links below. Bye.